It's a Tuesday morning on Shelter Island, and the man walking the dock in San Diego is 64 years old. His wife is 61. 18 months ago, the two of them signed for the boat they had promised each other since their 30s, a brand new 46-foot cruiser, close to $300,000, the boat that was finally going to carry them down the coast of Baja and out into the blue. It is a beautiful boat. It has been to the fuel dock twice. The dream didn't die. It just got too heavy to lift. Nobody lied to them. The broker was friendly, the brochure was gorgeous, and every number in it was true. He talked about the headroom and the 3 cabins and the cockpit that seats 8, and how they could sail her off the lot before the season was out. He sold them square footage. What he never once mentioned is the number that decides everything after you turn 55. Not the price of the boat, but the size of the boat 2 people can actually raise, reef, dock, and anchor when the wind is up and the knees aren't what they used to be. 30 years of salt water on my hands, a lot of it offshore, and I have watched this exact thing happen more times than I can count. Good sailors, real money, the right dream, and the wrong boat, because somebody sold them all of it and none of the truth. So today, we do the opposite. 5 sailboats built for the sailor over 55, boats you can handle with 2 people, or with 1, without a young crew and without wrecking your back, that will still take you somewhere worth going. Not dock ornaments, boats. Let's get into them. Here's the thing the industry will never print on a banner. The average cruising couple out here is not in their 30s. They are closer to retirement than to their first boat. And every one of them will tell you the same thing over a beer at the yacht club. The sailing is not the hard part. The hard part is the ground tackle, the winches, the mainsail the size of a tennis court, and the standing rigging, that web of wire holding the mast up, the one surveyors and insurers both want, replaced somewhere around 15 years, and which runs $8,000 to $12,000 on a 40-footer, whether you sailed her all season or left her on the dock. Every boat on this list shares one quiet virtue. It shrinks that list of chores down to something a couple can live with. We start at number 5, the Sabre 34. Walk down almost any dock in Maine or on the Chesapeake, and you will find one, usually with the bright work glowing, and an owner who has had her 20 years. Built up in Casco, Maine, better than 250 of them, and the reason they still ask real money, a clean one runs somewhere between $35,000 and $60,000, is that Sabre built them the way you build a boat you mean to keep. What the buyer over 55 thinks he is getting is a pretty classic day sailor. What he is actually getting is a sea-kindly little cruiser with a comfort ratio of 27, enough ballast to stand up when it blows, and a rig small enough that one person can handle the whole thing on a quiet afternoon. The diesel is almost always a Westerbeck 27, simple, honest, parts still on the shelf, though the earliest boats hit an atomic 4-gas engine or a buzzy 2-cylinder Volvo, so you look before you buy. You look at the decks too. They are balsa cord, and after 40 years the water finds its way in around the chain plates and the mast step. Put a moisture meter on it and walk away from a soft one. But here is what a Sabre 34 really is. It is the boat that gets you sailing this year, for the price of a used pickup, instead of dreaming about it for 5 more. And it holds its value the whole time you do. Number 4 is the Tartan 3700. If the Sabre is where you start, the Tartan is where you would be glad to stop. She came out of Fairport Harbor, Ohio in 1999, one of the last real American yards still turning out sailboats, drawn by Tim Jacket. And she took Cruising World's Boat of the Year the season she launched. You will see clean ones today from about $95,000 up past $150,000. The salesman would sell you a new 40-footer for 3 times that and call it an upgrade. Here is what he leaves out. Jacket's whole idea was to pack the boat of a 41-footer into 37 feet, so a couple gets the room without a second mast's worth of sail and bills. Better yet, most of these carry Tartan's carbon rig, a mast lighter and stiffer than aluminum, which means less weight swinging up high, an easier motion in a seaway, and a boat that carries her sail longer before you ever have to reef. Add the self-tacking jib the yard called the cruise control rig, and you have a 37-footer a couple can tack up a crowded harbor using nothing but the wheel. She is not flawless. That wide, modern stern gives you a lively helm when it pipes up, and there is real wood down below that wants keeping. But for the sailor who wants a proper boat and a quiet body, the 3700 is a great many right answers in a single hull. Number 3 is where I am going to lose a few of you. It is the Alerion Express 28. I can already hear it. 28 feet. A day sailor? After all those years dreaming of crossing an ocean, you want me to buy a boat I can't even sleep for aboard? Yes, and let me tell you why I mean it. Carl Schumacher drew the Alerion in 1990 off the lines of an old Herreshoff, and she may be the most quietly intelligent boat on this whole list. Fractional rig, 40% of her weight down in the keel, so she stands up stiff as a piling, a tiller that talks straight to your hand, and a self-tacking jib on what's called a hoist boom, which means you come about by doing nothing at all but turning the helm. No winch, no grinding, no scramble across the foredeck. A clean one runs anywhere from the mid-40s to right around 100,000. And yes, that is real money for 28 feet. Here's the part the brochure crowd never understands. The best boat you can own after 55 is not the biggest one you can afford. It is the one you will actually take out on a random Thursday, by yourself, because rigging it and sailing it and putting it to bed is easy enough that nothing ever talks you out of it. The 46-footer at the dock is a project every single time. The Alerion is a decision you make in the parking lot and never regret. A boat that goes sailing 200 days a year beats a boat that goes sailing 6. It is not close. That is not settling. That is knowing exactly what you are doing. If that is the kind of straight talk you came for, the kind no salesman working a quota will ever hand you, do me one favor before the last two. Tap that like button and hit subscribe. I put a couple of these out every week, so there is always another boat coming. Now number 2, and this one is for the sailors who are not slowing down one bit. Number 2 is the J/40. And I mean the original, the boat Rod Johnstone drew back in 1984, the first real Bluewater boat J/boats ever built. Not the brand new 40 they just launched under the same name. Only 86 of the old ones were made, and a good one today lands somewhere between 70 and 120,000. This one is not for the sailor winding down. It is for the one who is past 55, still races on Wednesday nights, and has no intention of stopping. Because here is the secret J owners have kept for 40 years. A well-drawn performance boat is easier to sail short-handed than a heavy one, not harder. The J40 carries a light, balanced helm and tracks through a seaway like she is running on a wire. She very nearly steers herself, and you can shorten right down to a reef and the small jib and still drive her hard in a blow with just 2 aboard, never once feeling behind the boat. Now the honest part, and it is a real one. A lot of these boats carry rod rigging, solid metal rod instead of wire, and when rod rigging ages out, the inspection and the replacement are specialist work, and they are not cheap. Budget for it, survey it hard, and price it in. Do that, and you have a boat that will still make you grin at 70 the way she did at 40. Some sailors don't want easy. They want alive. This is their boat. And that brings us to number 1. The Saga 43. If you have been around this channel a while, you know one name keeps surfacing: Bob Perry. The man who drew the Valiant 40 and lit the fuse on the whole performance cruiser movement. The same pen behind the Passport 40 and the Islander Freeport we have sat with before. The Saga 43 is what Perry drew when he set out to build the ideal boat for a couple. And to my eye, it is the finest thing on this list. Saga built them up in Ontario starting in 1996, only about 55 hulls, and you will find good ones from around 130,000 up toward 200. New, They were $355,000. Let that tell you what kind of boat we are talking about. Here is the genius of her. She carries 2 head sails on 2 furlers, but you never fly them both at once. A self-tacking jib for working to weather, tack up a channel with a turn of the wheel and never touch a winch, and a big reaching sail you roll out when you crack off and want to run. Every line leads aft to the cockpit. Perry aimed the entire boat at short-handed couples, and the brokers who sell them say it flat out. There is almost nothing on the water easier for 2 people to handle. And she is quick, a true offshore boat that will do 7.5 knots to weather and touch double digits with the wind on the beam. Check the balsa core for moisture the way you would on any boat her age. Then go point her at something over the horizon. This is the one you keep for the last good decade, and with this boat, it is a decade you actually spend sailing. So what would I do with my own money? It comes down to one honest question: how much fire have you got left, and how much back? If I still wanted to sail hard and didn't mind the work, I would hunt down a clean J40 and re-rig it, no apologies. If I were setting 2 people up to go cruise the coast for 10 years and never fight the boat once, it is the Saga 43, and I would not look back. And if I am being truly honest about how most of us sail once the calendar catches up with us, I would think long and hard about that little Alerion. Because the boat that actually leaves the dock is worth more than the boat that only impresses it. None of these is the boat the salesman wants you standing on. His boat has more cabins, more waterline, and a bigger loan. Yours has the one thing his doesn't. It goes sailing. There is one more piece to this, and it only matters more as the years stack up. Every boat I named today holds its value, but a rare few out there actually hold it or gain it, so that the day you finally hand the wheel to someone else, you don't lose your shirt walking down the dock. Because past 55, the way you get out of a boat counts as much as the way you got in. That is the next one, a short list of sailboats you can sell as easily as you bought them. Until then, don't let anybody on that finger pier rush you into more boat than you need. The right one is never the biggest hull on the dock. It is the one that is still easy to love on a gray Tuesday, still easy to single-hand at 70, and still floating easy and ready the morning you finally point her bow at the horizon.